Well. Again, as an Arsenal fan, I think I have just two players to talk about in this whole transfer window, unless the whole news just crumbles and we just stop talking about it. Probably the window gets closed. Locatelli is one, Ben White, and of course Ruben Neves is the third one, not two but three. So what do we have here in this episode? Well, straight away, I'm not going to waste anyone's time. Let's just kick it. So, according to Sky Sports, Roma decided to adopt a waiting strategy after Arsenal rejected an official offer of 15 million euros for Granit Xhaka from AS Roma. After Arsenal announced the contract with Lokonga, optimism is now increasing in Rome about obtaining the green light to close the deal. Negotiations are underway. So they're saying that with Arsenal, getting a new player, they might be soon enough quickly wanting to get rid of Granit Xhaka as well. So that is the one psychological trick that they're using. And also, according to the trusted source, Gabriel Sanz from Mundo Deportivo, Arsenal and Tottenham have shown their interest in signing goalkeeper Neto. But Spurs have already signed Pierluigi Golini from Atalanta, right? So why is this news still saying about Tottenham's interest? I have no flippin' idea. Very well. So we move on to the third and the most vital news of this episode. Yes. So according to Mirko Nicolino from Tutto Sport, Juve defender Radu Dragusin reaches an agreement with Sassuolo. Now Locatelli is very close to Juventus according to him. But Conrad Harrison says, Arsenal will up their pursuit if Locatelli towards Ruben Neves. If Locatelli deal does not happen, it's one or the other as it stands. Locatelli has been watched by Arsenal since his time at Milan, and the club are huge admirers of Manu Locatelli. Not conclusive enough, but for now, yes, I'll take it. I have to. Do I have any choice? Moving on, so the new boy is really gearing up at Arsenal. So Arsenal shared the training images of first Lokonga Arsenal training session. Yes, so crazy stuff to see him doing the training, and Lokonga is ready. Well, before I think here's what Lokonga said as to what do you want to call him, or what he should be called it, what he wants to be referred to as. He says, first, my full name is Albert Mboyo Sambi Lokonga. People call me Sambi. Most of the time people call me Sambi or Albert. You can call me Sambi. It is fine. So we call him Sambi. Might come up with some other names as we generally do. Moving on, so after a lot of speculations that Inter will try to pull out of the Florida Cup because of the whole new variant of the pandemic virus, it looks like Inter Milan will fly out officially. It's confirmed via footballitalia.net that Inter Milan will fly out for Florida Cup to face Arsenal amongst the others. The Everton and Millonarios are also the clubs interested. So it looks like it was all a hoax. We don't 100% believe in those kind of news anymore. Moving on, so according to La Repubblica, here's another twist on the Lokonga deal. Since Leandro Paredes is under contract until June 2023, Paredes is said to be of interest to Juventus, who would like to attract him in the form of a loan with an obligation to buy, or rather an option to buy. So yes, according to La Repubblica, if they want to sign Leandro Paredes, that leaves wide open a player who's from Sassuolo who's costing more to Juventus, and that is Manu Locatelli. So again, I just don't quit, do I? I don't. And I will never quit. Yeah. Crazy. Ray Parlour. Sorry, my mistake. Ray Parlour on Arsenal's window. I said Ray Parlour, I'm sorry. Ray Parlour on Arsenal's window says, I think they need another striker. I think they need another midfielder alongside Partey. I think they need another player who's mobile in there. And defensively, you could argue that they need a right back. Bellerin has talked about that he could move on. So I think he's not wrong. Of course, we have seen Arsenal's defense. We've seen Arsenal overall. So we know that there are lots of things missing at Arsenal, and they could make with a lot of players in a lot of positions in this main window. And also, according to Dale Johnson from ESPN, here's the new rule about the new Premier League's rule about VAR. Yes, Good news and bad news. Now, one of the great successes of VAR to Euro 2020 was the speed at which the decisions were made, especially for offside calls. But sorry, Premier League fans, that won't happen for you this season. Supporters have been infuriated by long delays while they watch the VAR apply offside lines, often resulting in goals being disallowed by the tightest of margins. We've all been there, trust me, Liverpool, Arsenal fans, United fans, everyone. And it won't be getting quicker anytime soon. At Euro 2020, UEFA appointed twice as many officials for each game, including a dedicated VAR for offside. In domestic leagues, everything is done by one lead VAR, who must check the incident, attacking phase, and any offside in the move, of which there could be multiple. UEFA use an assistant referee for each of the top 5 leagues to act as the offside VAR across the 51 games at Euro 2020, with Lee Betts, the Premier League's representatives. Having a dedicated offside VAR speeds up the process, but sources told ESPN that issues with resources and logistics mean that Premier League cannot do the same as what was happening in the Euros. There simply aren't enough qualified assistants to fill an additional VAR role for offside across every Premier League game. It's not all bad news though. Premier League will add a tolerance level actually, as seen at Euro 2020, which means, here's the good news, the final image in offside calls must produce a conclusive result for offside to be given. What would this change? Think back to 2020-2021 and Jordan Henderson's disallowed winner for Liverpool against Everton in October when Sadio Mane was given offside, or in November when Mo Salah at Brighton and Patrick Bamford for Leeds at Crystal Palace. Fans will also no longer be shown the working out process, so no geometry lessons anymore either, according to Dale Johnson. So, if it's only conclusive, only then things will go out of the hand, otherwise everything will be cool. And according to Tuesday's editions of L'Equipe, Peter Bosz wants 2 players for Olympique Lyon. Onana is on the list, but the clubs have different valuations. He wants a striker of stature, and the club is willing to sell Aouar, Joachim Anderson, Thiago Mendes, or Yusuf Kone and Cornet to fund it. Very well. So here's the master and the big update, and exactly what do you mean by Ben White coming to Arsenal? What would it mean for Ben White to join Arsenal? Well, apart from his tiger tattoos, Ben White is very close to Arsenal and carries controversy with him. So let's just read out. I have an update from Mahmoud YSH on Twitter, who's actually given a detailed analysis of how he plays. Now, White attracted interest after his impressive loan spell with Leeds United, but instead of moving to one of the strongest teams in the league, White continued his development with Graham Potter. The 23-year-old has now made a 50 million move to Arsenal. What does this make? Well, perhaps most importantly, White has thrived on defensive teams similar to Arsenal. He's used to playing in a high defensive line with attack-minded defenders, and has shown that he can play in this type of system. That should help his move to North London tremendously, according to Mahmoud. Mahmoud also says that Ben White is an excellent match for Arsenal. He's undoubtedly a talented defender and should fit in with Arteta's brand of systematic possession-based football. There aren't big holes in his defensive game. He plays a building block as well, dribbling and passing. That's huge and highlights the potential he has. Now, Mahmoud actually shed more light on what makes Ben White a great defensive talent with huge potential. White is not particularly a physical defender, but he does display quality in defensive duels based on positional awareness and the ability to read the game. It is one of the reasons why he's able to adapt and compensate. He rarely needs to recover and fix mistakes, given his ability to position himself very well and get the job done. It does not load muscles. This allows to be agile fast. It is important for defenders to be able to change directions quickly, and which is where Ben White comes handy. He's also particularly good at figuring out when to cover for a fullback, something he was routinely tasked with when defending behind Lamptey at Brighton and Ayling at Leeds United. Ayling, a very attacking-minded fullback. White is a bit weak in the air, but fortunately Gabriel at Arsenal will be in control enough to tackle that. White is not a player who likes to defend, although he does defend a lot. His game is about advancing the ball and keeping it going rather than defending for the sake of defense. He does it actually well. Now, if we can actually come up with an example, here it is. His outstanding trait lies in possession of the ball. White is an accomplished ball carrier, often able to break opponents' pressure on his own. The benefit of being able to break pressure with a single player is that the rest of the team can take on more advanced positions rather than having to stay deeper to act as a passing option for the defender. If Ben White can do that on his own, That's less pressure on the other players. Now, what's more, White, who plays as a right-sided centre defender in a three-man centre-back role, has made contributions to progressing high and across down the right wing, either pulling players in and clearing spaces or crossing for more dangerous positions. Arsenal certainly lack the influence that White offers. That's one of the big aspects. Now, elite teams play a heavy possession style with a high defensive line and advanced pressing. For this to work, defenders must be technically proficient, which is something White can do. His amazing passing range and skillful passing ability is what distinguishes him from the most of the options that Arsenal could have bought from the transfer market. Despite White's ability as a defender and his suitability for Arsenal, his transfer remains controversial because of the price tag. Well, problem is that Arsenal have not needed to bolster their defense this season at all. They conceded the third fewest goals in the league, with Leno and Gabriel, getting very much exposed to the defensive problems. William Saliba was the right guy right now. Ready for the first team opportunities. It might make sense to look elsewhere in the team to solve a major shortfall in attack. But Arsenal's defenders' profile has been turned away. Naturally, Arsenal believe that defense is where they had to strengthen. So this is what the Twitter thread of Mahmoud look like. So I think it's really great to see that his detailed analysis shows us why Ben White to Arsenal does make sense. Let's see if it works or not. So with this, I'd like to end this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you seek daily Arsenal content, best place to be, consider subscribing.